Okay, so when I started my undergraduation course back in 2012, since then I was motivated to pursue this career of entrepreneurship. During my college days, I was doing some freelancing work, and then as a student entrepreneur, we started our own, online platform for exchanging books.
What were some of the pivotal moments that helped you scale these businesses?
So one thing I believe, is the team. Both you consider 72 Cubes or you consider IP Burger. In both cases, what happened is
Can you share some leadership techniques and team building strategies that have worked well for you?
first thing is, while building the team, most of the entrepreneurs or the leaders, when they're getting started with building their team, hiring the first 5 employees, one of the major challenges they face is delegating tasks. Create an employee persona. Like we create customer persona, we need to create an employee persona that will enable us to have it written down on how our team member should be. And as a good leader, your responsibility is creating more leaders. Mentor is more like, let's say if you're a mentor, it's more like you navigate an escalator. You know how easy it would be, how faster would it be to scale to the 20th floor. For example, if you are having a team of, let's say, 5 people, 10 people, or 100 people, your bank account should have at least 3 to 6 months of their salary. So even in the worst times, you don't have to ask your employee like, okay.
Welcome to another inspiring episode of Boardsi Leadership Talks. I'm your host, Martin Rowinski, CEO of Boardsi. Today, we have a remarkable guest. With us is Rushi Adhia. Rushi is the founder and CEO of 72 Cubes, a successful seven-figure agency business, and COO at IP Burger, a leading proxy company. Rushi has risen from $300 a month job to building multiple thriving businesses. He's also a TEDx organizer and a passionate blogger. Rushi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for hosting me here.
Awesome. Very, very excited, Rushi. And your journey from a humble beginning to running not one, but multiple successful ventures is truly inspiring. Can you start by telling us a little about your early days and what motivated you to embark on this entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, so when I started my undergraduation course back in 2012, since then I was motivated to pursue this career of entrepreneurship. And since then, I was one of the founding members of the entrepreneurship cell at my university. And from there, everything began. Our coach, he was very motivating. He was giving us lessons about entrepreneurship and how everything works. He was giving us ideas about good and bad things about entrepreneurship. And that's how we started in the journey of entrepreneurship. During my college days, I was doing some freelancing work, and then as a student entrepreneur, we started our own, online platform for exchanging books. So if you're a student, let's say you completed your semester, then you can give your books to your juniors. So you'll get some money, and your juniors won't have to pay higher for the books, right? So that was my first venture, which eventually we closed down by end of 2016 when I was about to pursue my other career. So that was one failure that taught us a lot. We had about 2,500 users in that, but somehow we were not able to scale in terms of revenue, and that was a good learning. So I then actually started, with a job out there as a developer in a very small startup company. We were just 4 people in the office, including one founder member, and we just started from there. I learned everything, starting from coding to client communication, lead generation, and everything into the startup company. And then I decided to have my own venture called 72 Cubes, which is web development and web design agency. We work specifically with SaaS companies. Slowly and gradually, people started joining our agency. We got started getting new clients, and here we are now with this, seven-figure agency. And meanwhile, scaling up this agency, I got an opportunity to work with this company called IP Burger. So I started at a very lower position as a developer, and here I am today as the COO of the company, and I'm leading all the operations with IP Burger now.
Awesome. Sounds like a exciting time from college to where you're at now.
Yeah, pretty ups and downs, but that's the part of entrepreneurship.
That is 100%. So, between 72 Cubes and your significant role at IP Burger, what were some of the pivotal moments that helped you scale these businesses? I mean, especially at IP Burger, you said you started as developer and here you are a COO.
So one thing I believe, is the team. Both you consider 72 Qs or you consider IP Burger. In both cases, what happened is, I was fortunate enough to have the authority to build my own team. 72 Qs being my own agency at IP Burger. I was like, one of the first members to join IP Burger as an employee at that time, which now is more of a contractual thing, as well as I'm a partner with them now with a small amount of equity. And that's where, it gave me all the authority to form a team. And as a leader, your responsibilities is to build a strong team and you create more leaders. That's where, I believe I was able to scale up both these things together.
That's awesome. Um, and building and leading a team is crucial, obviously, for any entrepreneur. Can you share some leadership techniques and team building strategies that have worked well for you?
So, first thing is, while building the team, most of the entrepreneurs or the leaders, like when they're getting started with building their team, I think the first 5 employees, one of the major challenges that I've seen they face is delegating tasks, which is very well important. So I've prepared a set of kind of an SOP that I usually share it with my clients, with the people whom I'm consulting, and we started this way. Like let's say you are doing, 20 tasks, then you need to take a, let's say, a simple plain blank paper, divide it into 4 parts. The first section is the task that you do on daily basis. The second section is the task that you do on weekly basis, same fortnightly basis and monthly basis. Now let's say you made a list of 20, 25, 30 tasks that you're doing by yourself, or let's say both founders are doing it together. Then, now it's time to select 10% of the task if you're doing it for the first time. But if you're an experienced person, you have created teams and things, then you can go with, 20, 25% of tasks. Shortlist them, the tasks that you want to delegate in the first go, and then create an employee persona. Like we create customer persona, we need to create an employee persona that will, enable us to have it written down on how our team member should be. So this employee persona will include their behavior, their characteristics, their skills, and their experience. So once you are done with this employee persona or the team member persona, now it's time to look out for right candidates, post out jobs, and ask for references and stuff. And that's how you get initial few team members and you start delegating. So that's the first part of delegation, which everyone should be clear, like if they are building a team. And then the second part, comes as a leader. Like whenever you have team, the way you work, the way you were initially working as one member or two members or even a 5 member team, and when the team grows, the work culture has to be there. The delegation culture has to be there. And as a good leader, your responsibility is creating more leaders. How you can find one of your team members to be a leader and let them handle a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. Duplicate,
Yeah,
encourage leadership, right?
that's true. Like if you are the one who is like taking all the decisions, I myself am poking my nose into every little thing in the business, that's not going to work when you try to scale. You need people to make decisions.
Absolutely. And I know you're pretty strong about discipline. What are some discipline building techniques and daily habits that you believe are worth implementing in life?
So there are a lot of books available in the market regarding discipline and habits and everything. But there are a couple of books that are my favorite, and I'll say those are the, you know, core principles that I have followed in my life. One being the compound effect, and the other is micro habits. So let's say when you are getting started with something, there has to be a particular habit, a particular discipline that you want to get started with. And in that case, you need to understand like whatever decisions you make today is gonna be deciding your future life. Where we both are today, or we all of us are today, is only based on the decisions that we have taken in the past, be it good or bad. But we are here, right? And now it's time like we take these decisions carefully, so as to design the lives that we want, that we desire. So whatever decisions we make today, we need to understand like, okay, I'm small decisions, even like having dessert after your dinner is something. If you have it in your core mindset, like, okay, I'm going to have dessert every day after the dinner. If it's like, okay, I'm going to have dessert every weekend after the dinner, your mind functions that way. Your actions are accordingly done. So if you have this compound effect in mind, okay, what I'm doing today, what decisions I'm making today is going to affect my personal life or professional life in the upcoming years. And if this is already fit into your mind, if it's already there in your mindset, if it's already there in your behavior, then habits and disciplines come automatically. Then it's not pretty much difficult. But if you don't understand these basic things on how our decisions is going to be impacting our lives, that's where the problem comes
Yeah, I need the discipline of not eating dessert.
in.
That's the discipline I need. That because if you eat dessert every night, I know what's going to happen.
True.
I know the end result.
It's going to be a nightmare.
um, exactly. What role has mentorship played in your journey, and what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to follow in your footsteps?
So, mentor is more like, you know, for example, if you are trying to, let's say, go to the 20th floor, and if you start climbing the staircase, that's what you're doing by yourself. But let's say if you have a mentor, it's more like you now have got an escalator. You know how easy it would be, how faster would it be to scale to the 20th floor. That's what I believe is
Yep.
the role of a mentor in in an individual's life. It's not only about entrepreneurs. Even executives can have like the right mentors, and they can scale up faster. So if someone is getting started, or if someone has just started, the journey of entrepreneurship or being an executive, here is how they can, actually find a mentor, or how they can define a mentor. So first thing is you need to define, okay, who is going to be your mentor. Let's say I'm running an agency business, doing let's say XYZ dollars a year. Now I need to focus like where I want to be. So if my goal is to be, at the 10x revenue by the end of let's say 5 years, I would want my mentor to be, there like 20x where I am right now. So if I'm learning from the right people, if I'm, having them as a mentor, that will be my escalator. And most people, what they fear, like even like when I was in my starting days, I would always fear to ask someone for mentorship, and especially someone as big who is 10x 20x better than me. The first thought that an entrepreneur would get is, how much will he charge? What if my pockets go empty? But that's not the
Yeah.
usual case. Like whenever I reached out someone for mentor, and more than 70% of cases I have got very polite reply from them. Either it's yes or no, and both cases. And even if someone says no, they are always ready to give you like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of their time for discussion, right? And like whenever you reach out to them, whenever you ask them, like, okay, this is what I need, this is why I need you as mentor. I believe there are a lot of people who are ready to, give back to the society. That's what their ideology is. And first thing is like you always need to have a persona of who your mentor has to be. Second is you need to have clear ideas or clear goals of what you want to learn from them. That's a very basic step. Like if I reach out to a mentor and he asks me like, okay, how can I help you? I'm like, oh man, I don't know how can you help me, but I want you as a mentor. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, and it's not, sometimes you can have a mentor and there is no fee to it. But if you're paying for that mentorship, it's more of a coach, and it could be a business coach, executive coach. But at the end of the day, it's not what you're paying, it's what am I getting out of
Exactly.
this? And is it worth it? What is the, I mean, everybody's more interested about ROI than anything else. So um there's a fee for everything. So, including time, right? You're spending time with a mentor, even if it's even if you're not paying anything, you're still paying with your own time. So don't waste your time, make sure you're getting something out of it. And sometimes it's a mutual relationship, right? So you're not only growing, but mentors can also learn and benefit from that as well. So yeah, I think mentorship's awesome. Now, every entrepreneur journey, obviously, as exciting as it is when it is good, there's also downtime, right? We struggle, we go through our things. Could you tell us about some significant challenges you faced and how you tackled them?
Hmm. Uh, in the introduction, I mentioned how we started as a student entrepreneur, the online book exchange platform, and we had to shut it down. But that was at a minor scale. So I'll talk more about later on stage where I was an experienced executive and had some experience, and then I jumped into entrepreneurship again. So that's where I in my agency business of 72 cubes. At some point of time, we made some mistakes, and we hired people at higher pay skills that were not required at that point of time, but we focused down the line of 6 months to 1 year, and then the business did not scale up accordingly. And like every month, we were reviewing our books, we were reviewing our bank accounts and our assets and everything, and the graph was going down. And at some point of time, we only had 2 months of runway left for our company, and after 2 months we would not be able to sustain, we would not be able to pay our employees, we would not be able to pay our utility bills, our rents, our partners. That was the time when, like, we were on the verge of either like do or die, like either you shut down your business or there's something you have to do in this 2 months that you scale up. So that was the point where I started making some notes because I know this is the downtime. I know I'm going to rise up. But when I rise up, I need to have a list of what not to do and what to do when I rise up again. And there were other few points that we also kept in mind. Like, for example, if you are having a team of, let's say, 5 people, 10 people, or 100 people, your bank account should have at least 3 to 6 months of their salary. So even in the worst times, you don't have to ask your employees like, okay, you have to work for free, or either you have to leave because we don't have money. Because if your team is not there, like it will be difficult for you to scale up again, right? So we made a note like, okay, this is the first thing when we scale up back. First thing, have at least 3 months of employee salary in our bank account, savings account that will be lying over there, and we won't be touching it anytime. That was the first thing I made a note of while I started preparing all the notes. So now coming to
Yeah.
like scaling up from this down point. Uh, like when you are at this point, I'm sure you might also have faced some situation during your journey. So like when you are at this point, you'd have nothing to lose. Like you have already prepared, like, okay, my company is going to shut down, I need to find something else, I need to ask my team to leave. So there's nothing more to lose, and that's where your self-confidence have has to be strong. And that's where we started. What we asked is, we asked our developers, we asked our marketing team to get together and asked everyone to just do marketing and lead generation. Even my developers were like, okay, let me learn how lead generation works. And they were reaching out to a lot of people on LinkedIn. They were reaching out to a lot of people by email, and we started some ads and everything. And we also started taking a few smaller contracts that we usually don't take, just so that we can get some cash flow. But down the line of 6 months, by working some smaller contracts, we were able to sustain. And then we got a major uh, client out there that helped us sustain. And I was like pretty clear to them. I was vulnerable. I clearly mentioned to them my feelings, like, okay, hey man, like, I'm glad you joined my call, and this is the point where we are. Like, we are about to shut down the company, but we started taking a few smaller contracts, and here we are today. Like, we're able to sustain the 6 months. And now, if I get this contract from you, we'll be able to sustain. So I was vulnerable. I mentioned my feelings to them. I mentioned where we were.
Yeah,
And of course, everyone is a human, right? Everyone has that humanity. And he was like, let's do it, man. I'll give you 1 month advance money if you want. And that's where we sustained. We scaled up again.
that's awesome. Got to be strong and got to get through it.
Yeah.
What so obviously, you're busy at 72 cubes, you got IP Burger. So when you're not working, when you're not building a business, what hobbies or interests do you pursue?
I and my wife, we both love traveling a lot. We have been to a lot of different countries out there. We have been to, like, we have traveled here domestically a lot. And we usually like to go on, long trips, like 18 days, 20 days, months. And at times we also work from there. At times, like, it's 100% off, but those are like only a few days. But usually, traveling is something that we love to do, and that's where we meet a lot of people. We get to know about a lot of cultures. We get to know about a lot of people's daily lives, what they're doing in their daily lives, and that's where you actually find out the real world problems. That's where you actually meet the people who are solving these real life problems. You meet 10 different people doing 10 different businesses in 10 different ways, and you can learn from them how they are working, what their work culture, how they are scaling, and so on and so stuff. And other than traveling, I personally like to read books. That's one of my major, you know, time consumption almost every week.
That's your escape.
Yeah, that's my
Awesome. Rushi, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Your journey and insights are truly inspiring. And thank you again for joining
It
us.
was an honor joining you, Martin. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning into Boardsi Leadership Talks. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring conversations with industry leaders like Rushi. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Talks. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful conversations with industry leaders. Your support means a lot to us.